21 degrees Celsius, and two legends are versing one another. How could I? How can I say that? I'm actually rooting for both. Um, I want them both to win. I want them not to lose, although it's impossible. Uh, it's two legends, Vasily Ivanchuk, Ukrainian Grandmaster, and Magnus Carlsen, and absolutely titans. So I think is of great interest. I don't know if I'm gonna stay like for 2 hours or so. That is totally dependable on the friends joining us and the number of the viewers. So I'm gonna do this for a while now and see how things are happening. Let me check on the platforms. Yeah, that looks very good indeed. That looks very good indeed. Right now, in 1 hour, I guess we'll be doing that. Yeah. All right, so that seems to be fine. So let's go back to the position. I was a little bit distracted by some domestic things. Right, that's the eval bar with a little bit of an edge for black here, but it's way too early to say. And if any, it doesn't mean nothing. Doesn't mean nothing. One would assume the knight on d7 has to play in order to make space for the bishop to move. But you got to be careful with this guy. Just saying, if they were to be playing knight f6, for instance, can we expect something like e5? You could potentially, but then the knight might be jumping on d5. Is that even conceivable? I think it is. I think it's playable because one of the most important things in chess is develop your pieces. You must develop your pieces as quickly as you can. So this guy has to play in order to make space for the bishop, and also needs to play the knight on b1. So these are the two main ideas for the time being. Both of them castled and looks very solid. No weaknesses, no identifiable weaknesses. Maybe the white queen is not on the most ideal square since you don't want to be in the middle of the board. Some ideas with the rook attacking on the column. So you may want to move the queen someplace else. Again, for black, I guess we might be looking at knight f6. And if e5, probably knight to d5. Knight f6 and then rook to d. Then queen has to play. Where? It's a matter for debate. If you were to say queen to c3, you're sort of like taking the square from the white knight. That's a natural developing square for that knight. So Magnus needs to choose carefully, like every single move, of course, but queen's position very important here. Where exactly? Maybe you guys can make some suggestions, some sequences. If you're seeing some stuff, you are more than welcome to communicate your ideas. Queen idea, they should be on b3. The queen probably it feels the queen should be on b3 or c2. Knight to c3 and rooks like this. Okay, let's just imagine how would white ideally place its pieces. So you want to have a knight on c3, you want to have a rook on e and another rook on a, c or d, probably d because it's an open file. So we always want to put our rooks on open or semi-open files. And black probably something like knight f6. The bishop, where does the bishop go? 6 and rooks. I mean, just to envisage possible, prospects for developing. Magnus had spent a bit more time than Ivanchuk, so he's on like 49 seconds. And Ivanchuk has like 10 minutes extra. This is a great interest. So even if I'm stopping the stream like in half an hour or something like that, I will be watching the game until the very end because this is something This is something of a historical value. This is very cool indeed. Hello, hi there, MSK. So we are seeing two legends battling today, Vasily Vanchuk and Magnus Carlsen. I mean, I've said it in the opening of the stream that actually I'm rooting for both. I want them both to win, although obviously it's impossible, but I really like these guys and my whole admiration to them. So, who are you rooting for? MSK. Ooh, that's a nice one. Knight c5. Knight c5. Pressure on this guy. One would say, oopsie daisy, one would say probably rook to e. I mean, after white plays something like knight c3, rook e1, probably want to increase the pressure on the attack. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love them both. Absolutely, MSK. I mean, I'm rooting for. I don't have a favorite, so it's one of those rare occasions where I can't choose a favorite. I can't pick a favorite. Okay, Shaq is a historical legend, and Carlsen is Carlsen, and I just can't pick a favorite. I, it's very difficult. I really, genuinely, I cannot have a favorite. I mean, I'm just loving them as chess players. I'm admiring them both equally, and it's very difficult to have a favorite now. But nonetheless, I'm going to be enjoying their struggle, their battle very much. And I'm really curious to see how Ivanchuk is faring after all these years. How is he doing in today's matches? He did incredibly well up to this point, very well. And let's see now, battling the master Magnus Carlsen, he himself being a master as well. So the reason for Chuck probably to play knight c5 is because obviously you're looking at this guy here. You're looking at the e4. Now, should Magnus bring a second defender? Should Magnus pushing it now? Probably it's too premature to do this kind of moves, isn't it? It's a bit too premature. So you may want to just get your pieces, develop your stuff, knight c3, rook fe1, rook a to d, and let's just see what happens. Now, after knight c3, one would say there's also something interesting like rook f to d8. Where would you place the queen after rook goes on the d file? Just saying. I mean, there are like very many subtleties here, very many nuances. Hell, we might have missing a lot of them, but at least we try to narrow down the unknown universe, try to understand as much as we can. Now that's a heck of a choice here by Magnus Carlsen. Rook fc1. Dude, that's interesting as hell. So he didn't defend the pawn. He actually went for double attacking the knight. May I ask? So probably that will land in super complications, knight e4. Yes, of course, because of the rook c to e. That's sweet. This is sweet. This is indeed something cool. Wow. And the engine is very stable. The evaluation bar is very stable. So if black were to capture on e4, they will land in a pin. A very unpleasant pin. You can't have the knight in a pin. Not like this. Knight in a pin, and of course, knight c3. Hell, this guy plays again, and you can't do too many things, I reckon. So probably Chuck cannot touch the pawn. He's got like 10 minutes extra, 10 more minutes. Can black reply? No. They gotta decide. I mean, you gotta move that guy to safety. Question is where? Would you play knight a6? Would you play knight e6 hitting the queen? Would you what? Would you go back? That's painful. You can't go back. You can't go on d7. You absolutely cannot do that. So, what do you think, guys? What should Ivanchuk do here? Should he play? Should he play knight e6? I mean knight a6? It's a bit painful to get your knight on ace on the rim. I mean, it's one of those things. The seasoned chess player, they don't want to do this. You need I don't know how many tempi to get the knight back. Probably knight e6. The problem with knight e6 is that your guy on c8 also can't move. So that's getting more and more interesting by the move, by the minute. the game is getting more and more fascinating and exciting. Again, I'm rooting for both. I simply cannot have a favorite in today's battle. I normally leaning towards one player or another, but today is just I can't pick up a favorite. It's impossible for me. I can't. I can't choose a favorite. They're both favorites, so yeah. So guys, what would you personally play for black here? Would you do knight e6? I suspect you don't really want to take the pawn. I mean, there is some ideas. So rook f, does that provide enough defense? I mean, it's getting really funky. I don't think you should. So probably now, Ivanchuk simply calculates. Well, of course, what a truism. What a truism. Of course he calculates. But is it even conceivable? Knight to e? I mean, I'm feeling incredibly uncomfortable with that thing. Given rook e, knight c, knight d, is f5 good enough to, try to keep that guy in place? I mean, a pin is a pin. Yeah. If I am to choose, I mean, my favorite candidate stuff would be probably 96. 96, I'm attacking the queen. Queen's got to move. Then I'm going to get a rook. I'm going to get a rook on to, I don't know, e8, d8. Probably, yeah, one of these two. But for the time being, knight has to be saved. There are some complications here. And Chuck is so creative. What I do love about Vasily Vanchuk is that the guy is incredibly creative. And if he is one of those, if he is in one of those super good days in which he's delivering high level chess, uh, that would be fabulous to see Vasily Vanchuk now creating things of legend again. I think I made a video with Vasily Vanchuk versus Garry Kasparov in 94, 96, the game they played in Linares. And Vasily Vanchuk was smashing completely Kasparov in a canal variation, Sicilian, with whites. What a game. What a game that was. And many others, of course. He's a legend. So, what would you guys play if you were Ivanchuk here now? How would you respond to this? Would you do knight e6? Would you play knight a6? Would you play knight to d7, knight cd, or would you take e4? What do you guys think uh, best game for best reply for black would be here? Just let me know. Also, I would like to get that rook from f8, sort of attacking the queen. You need to get that rook to attack something. But not now. I mean, you got to sort out the knight issue. Okay, so I am going to inquire with the engine, see what the engine say. Personally, I would be inclined for knight e6 just to have things under control and hitting the queen with tempo. Then probably I'm planning on the rook. And then I need to find out a way to do something with this bishop. Let's ask the Stockfish 15 or whatever version they've got available for us. Knight ac4 the first one and knight a6. Knight ac4 is the first line of the engine. Not a comfortable move. So now Vasily Vanchuk simply calculates. Knight e6 is not even mentioned. It could be the third, the fourth, or the fifth line of the engine. Probably not that great in terms of blocking the bishop. Knight a6 is being given with a plus 0.11. Again, we are not very passionate about getting the knight on the rim, but knight takes c4 is actually very playable. And exactly as I mentioned, knight e4, rook e1, f5, f5. That will open also this diagonal. But I don't think you need to fear any checks. Any problem? First, you got a knight on b6, looking after this square, and if there's anything, there's always bishop here. So not a problem. So knight e4. It's not a psychologically comfortable thing to put the knight in a pin. But the engine calculates it's actually a bit of an advantage for black. Not super advantage. It wasn't a major mistake or blunder or anything like that. It's just a bit of an advantage. You would need to be careful. But knight e4 is the correct move. Now I'm going to turn off the engine again. And we're going to look at it with our human eyes and our human minds, if there is such a thing as a human mind. There you go, knight e4 and f5. I mean, quite natural, I'd say, but not very comfortable. Psychologically, you would like to not put the knight in a potential pin. But in this scenario, probably you need to figure out knight e, rook e, f5, knight f3, d2. The reason being, you may want to push f3. But I guess after knight f3, d2, black can potentially move the queen away from the e file. If I'm correct. So knight takes, rook e, f5, knight d2. Knight d2, not just putting pressure on the knight, but also of course, increasing the diagonal from the bishop, but also f3, which would hit the knight. Mind you, guys, the rook is on e1. So the engine prefers knight takes e4, but you really need to make sure that actually you got the right response after knight f3 d2. By the way, what do you do after knight f3 d2? Let me just play it. Let me just play it. Question is, after this particular moment, what is black going to play here? Don't tell me it's something like this. Probably that's the answer, right? It's rook f to d8. Is that correct, ladies and gents? Is this the thing that actually Chuck calculates right now? Because I think that is worth investigating. Obviously, when white plays knight f to d, they're also looking at this. But if black can hit with tempo, yeah, that's good. There is no, you can't do this. This is actually quite funky. You've got to be very careful, very sharp. I don't think it's very bad for black, considering rook f to d. Let me just play it and see how the eval bar behaves. It behaves within the margins of acceptable advantage for black, still minus 0.33. Not a bad move. Not a bad move. Okay. There you have it. I reckon that's the stuff. Not bad for black. Let's see what Ivanchuk decides to play. Now, he did spend almost 10 minutes, 9 minutes he spent thinking about what to do now. I think this is those pivotal, this is those moments. So this is one of those moments where whatever decision you're taking, it's gonna influence the remainder of the game. This is one of those moments. This is not just a simple developing moment. You know, when you're playing chess, all moves matter, absolutely. But there are some moves in which you're just developing a knight, or you just play a bishop, or you just castle the king, or you play an H or an A move, pawn or something. They are not absolutely fundamental moves. You know, you could have replaced them with another developing move. Let's put it in this. But this particular moment, it's not just a simple developing move. This is very important. This is a critical moment of the game, very important point in the game's evolution. And it's super exciting to see what Chuck is going to respond to this. Is he going to take on e4? The engine gave knight a6, but again, it's kind of painful. I don't think Even Chick gonna go for knight a6 is just one of those moves we don't want to play. We just don't want to play this kind of stuff. This is a very sad. I mean, it has some prospects, but it's just away from the game, away from the universe. Here, it's just a painful move. Knight a6. It's the second line of the engine, but probably most of us wouldn't be thrilled to play knight a6. Now, I could say that even Chuk really takes his time about this position now. So that's something. That's something. Watching the pieces now, Magnus needs to do something at some point with this knight. He needs to get them developed. Even Chuk needs to get the bishop in the game. But for the time being, something more stringent, something more urgent happens right in the middle. Magnus attacked directly, rook f to c. And even Chuk attacks twice here. So that's the most this is the priority now in the game. This is the priority, nothing else. Everything can be postponed except the attack on the Black Knight and the double attack on the 4. Two legends playing today. Oh, I think I need to close the window. Pardon me, guys. Just 2 sec. Stay where you are. Okie dokie. Did they move? They haven't moved yet. Okay. He hasn't played. Do I have a brief look at other games that might happen? Although I'm very interested. I'm very invested in this game. I really wanna know what happened. Okay, let me just go very briefly and perusing through the other games happening right now. Bass of Salem. These guys aren't that well known, but that doesn't mean the game is not exciting. Ooh, I don't like that bishop on b7 here. The bishop on b7 is just so. God, this is so unhappy. Oh boy, what is that bishop doing? At the minute, nothing. Ooh. Okay. Just noticing a piece unhappy positioning. Let's see another game. Dominguez Perez and Alexei Sarana with quite an advantage for white. Very briefly here, quite an advantage for white. What's going on? To the bishop pair. It is white's turn to move. Oh, that's such a nice position, bishop here. They can't play any rook to attack the queen in this. Also, there is the c2 problem here you need to look after. C2 thing, what are you going to play? Not an easy, it's very tactical. You got to be very careful about this one. So white needs to address c2. Can you attack something? Well, if you look for attacking the queen, the c2 is going to drop. So you got to be careful about this one. That's a good question. That's a good question for white to be thinking about. He's having like 30, half an hour. The other guy is like 1 hour. Alexei Soren is like 1 hour. Dominguez Perez, half an hour. I don't know. Bishop e4, I don't know why it's supposed to be playing right now. I need to give him more time. Very difficult to say. Tactics and tactics and tactics. Nepomniachtchi Vidit did it. Nepomniachtchi Vidit. That's another exciting game here they're playing. Oh boy, he played knight a6. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh boy, he did spend like how many minutes? He spent 11 minutes and he went for knight a6. he went for the more pacifying choice. He went for the quiet developing. He didn't go for aggression. He didn't go for attack. He didn't go for tactics and complications. He went for the most quiet ever. 96 from Ivanchuk. Would have been exciting if he took on e4, but he didn't. He didn't. He spent 11 minutes and probably he got scared about something. He got concerned about something. He got concerned probably because rook e and then knight, and I don't know, he didn't like the rook f to d8. He must have seen something, or he must have imagined something he didn't like. Knight a6. Well, knight a6. Doesn't mean he's doing bad now or anything, but it's kind of those moves you would have preferred not to play. Of course, there is always one way to get their knight active. But anyway, probably he wanted to actually get the bishop where? Bishop e6, and then just get the rooks on the d and hitting the queen and stuff like that. Magnus, on the other hand, when he moved the rook on c1, was he hoping for check to take on e4? Maybe. Point is now Magnus would have to relocate the rook on c1. That's a nice. Bishop g4. Not a bad one. He has things under control now. Okay, knight on a6 is not the happiest knight on the planet ever. But hey, okay. Do you know what's next, right, guys, for black? Ivanchuk gonna play rook on the d file. That's exactly what's gonna happen. He's gonna play a rook on the d. But it's Magnus's turn. And Magnus needs to, again, move that rook a little bit. You need to move the rook probably on e, and then you have to spend another tempo getting the other rook on the c. Probably. This knight on a6 that we've decried, and we actually said it's not the best development for a knight. At some point, if the rook disappears from a to the c or anywhere else, there is some ideas with knight to b4 perhaps. But then after a3, you gotta move him back. We'll see. We'll see about this. It's Magnus's turn, and he knows that Czech's gonna play something like rook to d. So he's actually looking now for a way to moving queen safety. Where? Another question. Can you do queen to e? Just asking, can you do this kind of stuff? It's too weird, isn't it? This is a bit weird. b5 at this stage. What else can you do? Queen to c3? I would assume now white needs to move the queen away from the d file. Am I correct, guys? What do you think? Should white play the queen someplace else away from the d? I mean, it makes sense. Okay, what do you want? Where do you want to move the queen? Maybe rook e first, and after rook a to d, just saying. Then you're gonna move the queen probably here. But then there is a problem with this. This is something. Those two knights on the queen side are dangerous in terms of if you don't move the queen carefully enough, you might be landing in some troubles. Especially if you move now the rook over to... Hello, the turn-based chess. What do you think about this position? What would you personally do if you were Magnus Carlsen, turn-based chess? Would you move the queen? And if you move the queen, where exactly would you place it and why? Because you know what's coming. It's rook 8 to d8. Hello, Pranav. How's it going, brother? Came right on time. Too late. Two legends battling as we speak. Vasily Vanchuk and Magnus Carlsen. Yeah, I'm absolutely enjoying watching these guys playing. I'm actually super happy seeing them playing. I'm rooting for both. I don't have a favorite. It's impossible now to have. So for me, this is the most important game of the day, so to speak. So yeah. Pranav, by the way, turn-based chess. Pranav, guys, where would you move the white queen? Would you move the white queen now, knowing that black rook a8 is going to go on d8, or you're going to move it after rook attacks your queen? You know, Pranav, e5 was the idea that I was talking with the folks on the stream just before you logged in into the stream. I just voiced the queen e5 idea. Queen e5. If black queen would capture, you would take with some tempo, hitting the bishop. Not not very bad, not very bad. Could be. Now, there is no guarantee black queen's going to take you. That's one. Maybe they don't take you. Where do they go? Matter for debate. Pawn e5, that is sweet indeed. Pawn e5 is absolutely sweet. It's absolutely very nice. Because you actually attack the bishop. And if they take, so be it. You're going to take. Therefore, clearing the path for your rook to go on an open file. So e5, I think it's very reasonable. On the other hand, Pranav, those two knights on A and B are very dangerous. Should white be thinking about some, I mean, just asking, should white be considering some b3 move, or is just totally preposterous? I mean, this is dangerous. If you ever want to play something like queen e3, you would be facing some serious problem. Well, not now. I mean, bishop takes, knight takes, and then if a rook comes over here and you move, you've got to be careful, I guess. I don't know. Is b3 playable? It's completely too early to do that. Yes, yes. There is a feeling that it might be a bit slowish and unnecessary behavior. What did Magnus... Dudes, did he play bishop f1 because he's actually concerned about the c4? I mean, what's this bishop f4, f1 doing here? Someone please enlighten. Does he want to give black double pawns and just that? Okay, so let's look, Pranav, let's look at the practicality of it. Bishop f1, just imagine I'm giving white one more turn. Of course, just talking. If bishop were to take, and obviously you have to take back, it's a forced move. c6 is a freaking liability, and then this guy can be potentially attacked. So, you know, I think Magnus at this stage, he wants to create just a little bit of an advantage. Turn-based chess. You wanted to suggest king h2. But isn't it king h2 a bit too slow, turn-based chess? I mean, king h2 to what end exactly? I think it's like you giving up on initiative, or you missing an opportunity to develop or attack something if you do something like king h2 at this stage. It doesn't feel that actually does have a contribution to the game economy. Pranav suggests an interesting thought, knight c7, which I think makes a ton of sense. Pranav, the idea of bishop taken on a6, I think it's a winning move for white. Unless Ivanchuk attacks something, he better move that knight immediately on c7. Yes. This is actually, Pranav, this is actually the perfect moment for that unhappy a6 knight to actually get on c7. So this is the moment where potentially you might be at some point playing b5 or something, or e6. Knight c7, knight e6, it's not that bad. But hey, Ivanchuk hits the queen. Guys, I said it, I think, like 30 times, that black from a8 gonna play on d8. So actually Ivanchuk attacks Magnus attacked the knight, threatening to give double pawns and isolated on c6, but actually Ivanchuk creates a bigger threat. A fabulous turn-based chess. Absolutely, dude. You know, guys, this is the one of those subtle philosophies of chess. Intermediate moves, intermezzo, Zwischenzug, the intermediate moves. This is a great, great, great super philosophy in chess. If you can create a bigger threat, do it, and then you revert back to the initial plan, namely moving the knight from a6 to c7 and then rerouting the knight on e6, perhaps. And there you go, queen e3. I mentioned that one as well. Yes, turn-based chess. I think you are correct. It's a superb in-between move. A superb in-between move. Yes, that is correct. Rerouting, obviously, you don't wanna give the knight, and then actually you're gonna lose. If he didn't play knight and allowed Magnus to take, I think Ivanchuk would have ended up in a very bad position, practically losing. So this is superb. The game's balance is sort of restored, a bit advantage for white. And Magnus goes with a4. Oh boy, Magnus is relentless. When Magnus is attacking, he is absolutely relentless. Well, b5 has been deemed impossible now, Pranav. Therefore, e6 is the only stop. But now, I don't think knight b5 would have been an idea because still white takes, and you're gonna have double pawns here. I'm not sure, fully convinced. The problem for Ivanchuk now is that Magnus is gonna push a5. And guys, did you notice the funky stuff? He's gonna push a5. Where do you go with that one? You're gonna get cramped. You're gonna get cramped. And you can't play a5 because the knight is dropping. Boy, I mean, Magnus is absolutely relentless, okay? He's a master of tactics. They're both freaking super GMs. This is absolutely fabulous. Because the problem for black now is that the knight on b6 would be having to withdraw, retreat, cramped position for black here. I'm not very envious for black at the minute now. a4, what a move. What a move. This is one of those... Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, no, sorry, guys. That's my mouse slip. Of course. Sorry, apology. That's my mouse slip. I just wanted to press something else. This move a2, a4. I mean, such a simple move, yet so effective. So effective move. I mean, you can't just ignore it. Ivanchuk already has to make plans where to move the knight on b6. Can he create another threat? I don't really see it at the minute. You know what I like about Magnus' options again? When he played the rook from f to c, he kind of, after a4, he managed actually to making the rooks active along the a file and the c file. This is genius. Oh, this is genius. So simple, yet so effective. No, d5, I don't think it's playable at the minute, I'm afraid. Still, we don't want to give a piece. So unfortunately for black, unfortunately for Vasil here, he's going to have to move the knight either C or D. I mean, you do not have too many options here. This is something. Right, knight d7. Sorry, knight d7 and then knight f6. Potentially. Yeah, could be. Why not? I mean, you don't want to go on c8, right? Pranav, where would you go? Turn-based chess. Where would you guys place the knight? If you are Vasily Ivanchuk, where would you move the black knight? I mean, would you move the black knight now preemptively? Or would you play something else? This is and there is another funky stuff, guys. Guys, we missed an incredibly important detail. Do you want to know what... If you do knight d7, you're going to sort of drop the pawn on a7. Oh, Jesus. Oh, boy. Oh, this is so annoying. If you play knight d7, which, don't get me wrong, I really want to get the knight on d7 because I want to get a knight on f6. But then you're looking at just simply queen taking on a7. And not just that they'll take on a7, they're going to grab the pawn on b7. I mean, this is just annoying, right? I mean, this is just absolutely annoying. I mean, what? You're going to play rook a8 back, pawn, and d7. It is absolutely annoying. Pranav, did you notice the subtlety here? Tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong, guys. Turn-based chess. Pranav, tell me I'm wrong. Rook fe8. Oh man, this is the subtlety that actually makes you to lose a game. This is exactly this moment. Exactly right, guys. Knight c8, because Ivanchuk, obviously, the genius he is, he noticed that actually a7 is hanging. He cannot give that pawn. He can't lose the a7. I mean, Magnus is a master of attacking, okay? This move a4, I mean, it's such a simple move, but it's absolutely devastating. I mean, Ivanchuk being forced to drop the knight on c8. Jesus. Crazy. Playing with the knight like this? Unbelievable. Who would have thought? Who would have thought getting your knights on c8 and c7? Oh boy. And there is another funky stuff. If you ever think about playing something like b6 to release your knight and just actually going to play somewhere, the c6 is hanging. No, white rooks aren't exactly in the center, but I think Magnus now, turn-based chess, I think Magnus now will investigate probably pushing the a-pawn, creating weaknesses in this black pawn structure and grabbing whatever pawn he can. If he grabs a pawn on c6, this is it. If you grab any of the 3 pawns for free, this is it. So I think he's going to leave it as it is. I don't know if he's going to make some improvements. I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if it's necessary. Can he just push a5 and a6? Just saying, as a just random thought. Can he just play a5, a6, opening the a file and undermining the c6? And he just go, you know, like a good old way to undermine a pawn structure. Go get the pawn. There you go. I've called it. He played it. There you go. There you go. a5. That's exactly what he wants to do. So everything frozen on the king side. He leaves it as it is. He keeps the status quo, pushing the a pawn. Going a6, actually. Do you know why he wants to go a6? In my understanding, if I may. a6, because whatever you take is going to use the bishop, take the knight if the knight takes, pawn takes, rook takes, and I think black is a serious problem there. Because if c6 falls and the rook on a becomes very active, I think black is not doing incredibly optimistic. Now, let's go at turn-based chess idea. Rook f8 threatens bishop takes f3. Yes, that's another tactic. Yes, that is true. Rook fe8. Let's see. Rook fe8 and, I don't know, bishop e2. Take bishop takes, but then a6 has been a6 had been slow. But you know something? After rook fe8 turn-based chess, what if white pushes a6? You're gonna take. Okay. Okay, fine. Knight's gonna take. Good. Queen's gonna take. Good. Queen's gonna take. Rook's gonna take. And I'm gonna take on b7. I am winning because black knight has to play, and then rook a1 takes on a7. Then base chess, I think white can incorporate black's plan after rook fe8. Your idea is very valid. I think you made a very good point, turn-based chess. Very good point. But I think white can incorporate black's plan. Let's do it again. Rook fe8. Okay. a6. Okay. Bishop takes. Knight takes. Oh, he took it early. What did Vasil is black? What? Okay. Ah, All right. He wanted to simplify the thing, take the knight to open up the rook, and just end up that weakness. I think it makes sense. So turn-based chess and Pranav, we were right in our assessment. Magnus wanted to play pawn a6. Of course he wanted to play a6. But now you can no longer play it. You cannot play it now. So it is a bit of an advantage for white because the black knight on c8, really, I don't know how exactly they're going to develop further. On the other hand, ladies and gents, the knight on c7, I love that knight on b5. I think you got to think that. You got to think of that. You got to consider this. Knight to b5, knight to d6. That is correct, Pranav. Knight to d6, knight to b5. If white wants to trade it, so be it, I guess. You're going to take with c. You're going to take with the c pawn, I reckon. Knight d6, yeah. Knight d6, of course. And the game continues. With a bit more substantial advantage for white, plus 0.78, because pieces activity and because black needs to spend a couple of tempos to get the knights actually to do something. Okay, so far so good. Very nice plan Magnus had with the advancement of the A pawn. Very nice plan. Oh, that's a nice subtlety, Pranav. Knight e6, what you're suggesting, it's a very nice subtlety. Very nice idea. So in order, oh, I get it. In order to replace it with a very active knight rather than having double pawns on B. Okay, that's a good thought. That's not a bad idea. I don't think that's a bad idea, Pranav. That's correct? Yeah, that makes sense. Knight e6. Before you play knight c b, you're going to play knight c d. As you say, hitting the e4 as well. Is e5 by white a problem for black? Just say. Hmm. I'm not sure. Maybe a bit premature to push the e5 pawn. Maybe a bit premature. Yeah, that's correct, Pranav. It looks good. I mean, I love the knight on b5. Don't get me wrong. It's look absolutely fascinating. Yeah, knight on b5. Very seductive idea. Hey, look at this. Rook lift. a1 to a4. Why? Only because he wants to defend e4? Pranav, turntable chess. Why rook a1, a4? Okay. I mean, I can understand. No, I think I know why, guys. Potentially, queen c3, rook b4, amongst others. So you want to move the queen no longer defending here. You want to move... Bloody hell. Targeting the pawn on e4. What are you going to play? You're going to play rook ce? What are you going to play? You're going to play what? Knight d? Nah, that just feels incredibly fishy. Hello, Step 65. Good to see you, brother. You came right at the most appropriate time here. We got two legends clashing today. I'm rooting for both equally. Ooh, turn-based chess. That's a nice thought. Yes, I think it makes a lot of sense. Comes with a caveat though. When you're pushing the F, you're subjecting yourself to potential checks and b7. Just as an idea, black needs to keep in mind any F pawn. Oh, he played it right now. Oh man, this is Magnus playing just genius freaking stuff. Rook a4, not just prophylaxis, Pranav. He actually wants to play something very naughty. That's not just prophylaxis, guys. This is Magnus doing genius stuff. It's rook a4, g4 idea. Because, whoa, queen takes h6. Oh my days, this is Magnus playing, right? Of course, knight, but you maintain the queen. Okay, where? You're gonna go here? But still rook might be making a very nice move. Yes, the knight on c8 is absolutely stuck. Spot on, Pranav. Spot on. The pawn advancement is clearing the way for the rook. Possible translation, sliding the rook from A file to G, wherever the rook is needed. And the E5 pawn cuts off the black knight on C8 completely. Absolutely completely. Only Magnus. I mean, yes. Now this is how a super GM plays. This is just absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We all fought. I mean, I thought rook a4 was a bit weird. I mean, what the heck? You move the rook on a4 to defend your pawn on e4. Why? But actually, Magnus had in mind something else. Rook g4, that is. Okay, this is just stuff of mastery. Mastery chess. Oh, yeah, absolutely. 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 Now he's got plus 1.03. He built up stuff. I loved when Magnus played a4. And then Vasil started to play defensively, withdrawing pieces, getting them back and back and back. Now here comes the okay, Queen B3 makes a lot of sense. I speculated the Queen B3 idea. We're looking at B7, making the F5 impossible. Well, not impossible, but very less likely now. You're looking at this guy, so Queen sort of has to be careful. He accumulated a lot of attacking points because Magnus is a freaking genius. He looks at many weaknesses. He made the knight on c8 completely unplayable. Well, you could play it, but it's very painful. You could play the knight, but probably you're gonna cry if you do this. And so the knight on c8 needs like 2 tempi to do something actually. Black queen, oh, very nice one, turn-based chess. It's pretty much cursed. Yes, this is beautiful. Poetically said, yes. Yes, a very nice poetic license. I appreciate good poetry every single time. So rook, uh, very happy to go to g4 or whatever the rook is needed. It's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant play. Yeah, hey, I've called it. It happened. Knight a7 for knight b5, which is cool because you're shutting off the queen. You making okay. This bishop on f1 will take. Will take after knight b5. He will take. I've said it. I've said it. Knight a7, knight b5 because there is no way for that knight to actually do something. So he didn't budge a thing on the king side, but he went for knight a7. Absolutely fascinating. It's absolutely gorgeous. How these guys are playing and the ideas behind every single move, it's just gorgeous. It's pure aesthetic, amongst other reasons why I love chess. This is absolutely, it's a piece of art. It's a masterpiece. It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Knight a7. Or knight b5, obviously. Bishop takes, c takes probably, and rook has to play. Rook has to move because the pawn attacks it. Where would you go? Would you go g4? It's worth. I mean, if you don't go rook g4, why did you play the rook lift in the first place? So you gotta do rook g4. It might be happening some h5. You still have to be careful. Rook g, I think is looking good. Increasingly good for white. Oh, what a beautiful game. What a beautiful game. Very beautiful. It's I think I'm gonna do another YouTube video on exactly this game. I don't know what the result's gonna be. Won't matter. I'm gonna do the film because this is just glorious. It's so fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. We are guys privileged in 2023 because we're still alive, and as chess players, we can witness this kind of things live. I think this is indeed a privilege. This is a historical gift to be alive in 2023, and you can witness the best guys on the planet, the legends clashing one another. It's just the best time to be alive for a chess player. I mean, not bad to be contemporary with the Capablanca or Alakine, or but probably you would have you'd have had to wait for the newspapers to arrive in town and for the journalists to telegraph the information and stuff. So yeah. When did they play? 1921, 1928? Alakine Capablanca? Yeah, you couldn't have seen that live unless you were there. I mean, if you're on the other side of the planet, obviously. Whereas now, you can witness straight away and you can engage with the fellow chess players from around the planet like we do right now. Fabulous. Now, Magnus giving a good thought. What do you think Magnus is thinking about, guys? Is he thinking about. Well, there is no reason whatsoever for which Magnus should be playing the bishop now, because you know what's going to happen. It's going to happen knight b5. Yeah, Pranav, knight rook g4 is the whole. It's the cream in the pie. It's rook g4. What? What's this bishop d3? Oh my God, he's got another plan. Oh, by days. I think I've just seen it. He won't do a damn thing after knight b5, boys. He's going to play bishop. He's going to play bishop b1 and queen c2. Oh, he's not going to do a damn thing. He's not going to take that knight. He gonna leave the knight where they are. He gonna play bishop to b. That's exactly what he's gonna do. I mean, I think that's exactly what he's gonna do. He's gonna play bishop b. I was just about to say that I don't see a reason for which he should play the bishop, because the bishop is meant to take exactly. Ah, only Magnus. Bishop b1. Oh boy. Look how artfully he got the pieces to cooperate. He got them active. He got them working. Look at the mastery of it all. Bishop f1, bishop d3, bishop b1. Look at the genius of it. Bishop b1. Oh boy. I mean, this is the most scariest ever bishop here. It's just. And rook g4, queen c2, it's scary as hell. And black can't do nothing on the e file because of this blocking pawn and because of this knight that does an incredibly good job. And if you're looking at the black knights, they can't do a damn thing. Okay, that one comes with a caveat. It's not really a defensive move. Comes with a big caveat. First, you do not stop queen c2. You don't stop it. That's one. Secondly, can we contrive another idea? Is this no? I think you need to play queen c2 now, and generating black's move g6. You have to. Then you have to look at ways to actually hitting the h5. How exactly? Matter for debate. Can you play g4? I mean, queen c2, g4. I think it's playable. Well, after queen c2, you are forcing black to play g6. You're forcing them. It's not a matter of option here. Queen c2, deadly battery, checkmate. Well, checkmate into moves, right? You can't just ignore that. So you are forcing black to play g6. Queen c2, g6. After g6, can you play g4? Of course, if they capture, you're going to take straight away. And I think very, very soon would be something like game over. Very soon. You can even think about a sacrifice here and just game over. Oh my God. Oh my days. Oh, what a beauty. So queen c2. What? What's this? What's this rook c to e? Can someone enlighten? Pranav, turn-based chess. What is this thing, rook e1? He wants to push e6? I mean, what? Sorry, guys. What the heck's going on here? Oh, he wants to move the knight. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes absolute sense. And Chuck actually played knight c7 for knight e6. Did he play for this particular reason? Still painful of a move. Yeah, he actually wants to play this kind of ideas. Oh boy. Knight g5, queen c. This is devastating. This is absolutely devastating. Oh yeah, man, how does he find these moves? How does he find them? Plus 189. Looks more and more better for white here. I don't know. I mean, black is just desperately defending now. Ivanchuk is desperately defending now. I mean, you're just defending. Ivanchuk had a big opportunity when he could have taken knight takes c4 right at the beginning of the game, ladies and gents. It was let me take it that one. He played knight a6, guys. For those of you latecomers, let me just show you guys that thing. So now Ivanchuk looks like he's gonna get in very serious problem. After queen c and knight g, it's getting really tough. Let me show you guys that moment. I think Ivanchuk is going to beat himself because of that thing. Hello, Clint Chess. Good to see you, bud. How's it going, man? You came right at the right time. Oh, there you go. This is it. This is the moment, guys. Ivanchuk here could actually march capture on e4, and any rook e will be responded with f5. That was the moment, move 17 in the opening, and actually he should have played that. Ivanchuk should have played that. But instead, he went for knight a6, starting a full game of defensive, and now we got a problem. He's got a problem now. He's got a big problem on his hands. I don't think he's gonna survive this unless Magnus plays some funky blunders, which probably he won't. I don't know how black deals with the queen c2 battery. I don't know how black plays after knight g5. I don't know how they play after knight takes, queen takes, and this one. I mean, this is just too much. I think it's just too much. So queen c2 eliciting this. So let me just put it this way. Queen c2 will elicit from black g6, I would say. Knight to g5, because actually you're going to take here. And this is just no good move for black. You just can't do too many things. And that was the reason why Magnus played rook c to e. And the whole thing with a4, a5, and rook a4 was the mark of a genius. It's just... I mean, he just finds it. He just finds it. Complete domination in this game. Again, I'm rooting for both. I'm not particularly favoring one over another because I like them both so much. But this game in particular, Magnus just exhibited the best chess. We're going to look at the accuracy. I think it's just play magnificent. Magnificent play by Magnus here. It's totally worth a YouTube video for sure. Well, more than one YouTube videos, honestly. Probably all the content creators in the chess world will be making their own part and putting this in a video for the chess community out there or out here. So yeah, what do you think, guys? Queen c2, knight g5, very tough for black to deal with. Very tough. You can't, I mean, this is just so suffocating. It's so suffocating for black. Oh yeah, that was absolutely. 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 It could be a potential world champion, this young lad from India, Pragnananda. Really promising. Really promising. Fabulous. Absolutely. If it wasn't Vasil and this guy, I would have watched his game. So, I mean, so many good games. Don't get me wrong. There's just so many good games today. They're all beautiful. But you don't get too many chances to see Vasily Vanchuk legend playing Magnus Carlsen. So, decided to go with this one primarily. So, guys, why does it take Magnus so long to decide for the battery here? Why does it take so long for him? What's he want to do? What's going on? Is there something else? Oh my God. Is it the bishop h7? Sorry, I mean, I didn't think of that one because I discarded it completely. I mean, if this were to happen, we've got to check here. This were to happen, we got to check. I mean, what the heck's going on? Is it bishop h7 in the cards? If you do this, you're going to do this anyway. Is bishop h7? Guys, sorry, I'm just asking. Is bishop h7 to be considered here? Or I'm just completely losing marbles? Oh, I mean, I would say queen c2, right? I mean, just keep it nice and simple. Whatever black plays is going to be a further weakening. Whatever g6 being played after queen c2, it's further weakening. You don't need to worry too much. If you want to go for bishop h7, you better calculate everything. Sorry, okay, I'm going to ask the engine. I mean, why does it take so long for Magnus? I thought it's crystal clear, right? Queen c2, knight g5, and then you could do knight f7, and if, you know, maybe. But I thought it's clearer. I mean, not clearer. It's obvious that it's a very strong attack. Let's ask the engine. I don't know what the heck's going on. I mean, I have an idea, but I don't know what does it take Magnus so long to play bishop queen c2. Queen c2, there you go. Queen c2, nice and simple. So now we've got a confirmation. There you go, people. We've got a confirmation. It's queen c2. Nice and simple and very effective. Bishop g6 is just a bit, you know, just keep it nice and simple. You're playing Vasily Vanchuk. You can't just mess around with the stuff here. Queen c2 is incredibly powerful. And again, whatever black will choose to play, it's exactly as I said, queen c2, g6, bishop a2. And g4, by the way, I did mention g4 when I was talking to you guys previously. I did mention g4 at some point because the rook is so ideally placed. That will make g4 very playable. And I think it's very much game over very soon. Exactly. So all these ideas have been mentioned already by you and by myself. The engine just confirmed our thoughts, which we were correct indeed. Why does it take Magnus so long? What's going on here? This is weird stuff. I mean, he did spend like, what, 10 minutes thinking about playing Queen C2? Isn't it obvious? Is he concerned about something? Does he want to play something spectacular? Does he want to play Bishop G6? I mean, okay. If I had this over the board, I would go for simplicity and effectiveness. I wouldn't mess around. Because the game is still, you know, highly tactical, and this knight's gonna come on d5 for sure. So why would you waste your time? Just go queen c2. That's it. It's a bit slow-ish, I guess. Yeah, I understand. Maybe he wants to go knight g5, but look, this is weird. I've got to tell you that he's got some idiosyncrasies sometimes. He does some weird stuff sometimes, Magnus. I mean, like spending now more than 10 minutes instead of going with the move that probably all of us would have played, queen c2, and then knight g5 and bishop a2. I mean, what the heck is he thinking about? What does he want to do? Knight g5, but that's a bit too diminished. It's a bit too He's watering down the attack. I mean, he's just wasting a tempo here. I mean, what is knight g5 going to achieve, actually? What, a check here? Maybe. I mean, okay, this is really weird. This is really weird. I'm looking at the clock and I can't really fathom. He's a genius, but I don't know. He fell into a deep thinking process now, one would assume. So he's actually now thinking in depth something, which I don't think it's a bad thing per se. It's okay to think. But if you see something highly effective and simple and safe and definitely improves the attack, why the heck would you spend so long? Rook f4. I mean, it's got a lot of virtue, but what it feels weird. Rook f4 because of the knight d5 really is weird. This is really weird. I mean, anything's possible, but really, I'm not happy with Rook f4 development. If that were to be, that would be a blunder. That's just something. It's a downright blunder. It's weird why he spent so much time. The game is in his grasp. The victory is close. The battery is waiting for him to enact it. Of course, you like Queen c2 clinch chess. Of course, everyone likes Queen c2. Starting with the Stockfish 15, everyone likes Queen c2. And we called it even before checking with the machine. And Step 65 likes it, and it's weird because he spent so long. I mean, the heck is going on? Did he go to the toilet or something? Oh, well, probably he not. What is he playing? Oh boy. Okay, this is weird. This is weird. I mean, I can understand you spending a lot of time when things are incredibly complex, but when there is a very clear path for attacking, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. So the engine gave Queen c2 the first line, which again ticks 1,000 boxes for white. And then the engine gave the second line, but not as strong. Bishop g6, which practically attacks this guy. But that's slow-ish. You're actually wasting a little bit of time. This setup is way more powerful. Queen c2, bishop a2 eventually. Uh, Again, any g6 would be further weakening black. I don't know, boys. I don't know what's Magnus doing here. Really, I don't know what he's doing. I don't have an explanation for this. Weird. Very weird. Okay, I'm gonna just briefly Clint and Step, and I don't know if Pranav's still here with us. I'm just gonna go just briefly. So this guy's still battling here. Dominguez Perez. Okay, huge advantage for white. Probably now Dominguez. Oh my god, Dominguez is on 9 minutes. Oh my god, this is crazy position here these guys are having. Draw Nepomniachtchi with it. And Carlson, this guy. Erigaisi Grandilius, another beautiful game. Well, we can't look at all of them. Fabiano Dudak Shistov, another beauty of a game. They're all so instructive. Gukesh and Wang. Oh man, what a match yesterday. Rasmus and Wang. What a match, those guys. What a clash. And Prague and Berkey's. Very, very even. Very even. So many beautiful games. So many beautiful games here. Absolute. A festival. This is absolutely a gift. Did Magnus play for Christ's sake? He didn't. This is just inexplicable. I don't have a clue what Magnus is molding. Uh, I mean, this is weird as hell. Bloody hell, he's on 16 minutes and he doesn't play nothing at this stage. I mean, all average chess players indicated Queen C2, confirmed by the engine, and he spends like an eternity here now. I, I don't know what's going on. I absolutely don't know what's. Caruana Duda, Clean Chess said it's a draw, surely. It's a draw, but you gotta tread very carefully. Probably they're gonna be drawing to save energy. Yeah, this one's gonna fall. This one's gonna fall. You still gotta be careful though. When you move the black rook, you're gonna be exposing your king to some checks here. Still gotta be careful though. If you're not careful and your opponent makes a battery on this little fella here, you might be having some extra headaches. But yeah, well, theoretically, yes. It's a long, arduous draw. It's not that easy unless they decide to save energy. And I just can't believe, guys, for Magnus to have went from 35 minutes down to 15 minutes and less, not moving in this position. This is weird from Magnus. Very weird. So weird. I can't believe that. I just can't believe that. I mean, in the first 5-10 minutes seemed to be so clear for all of us what's the best course of action. And now he's got muddled somewhere in its own thoughts or something. Why? What's going on? Did he freeze or something? Has he got frozen or something? Has he forgotten to press the clock? Is he thinking that it's Black's turn? You know what happened? You make a move, the other guy makes a move, and you think it's their turn. Oh, for Christ's sake. He did play Queen C2. All right, boys. Uh, Magnus played Queen C2, and as I had anticipated personally myself, G6 to be played. Why did it take so long, guys? Why? Yeah, exactly. Finally, clean chess. After like a billion years, which lasted like 15 minutes. Jesus Christ. And Bishop A2, I did say that myself. Queen C2, G6, Bishop A2. He could have done that in a span of a minute, as long as it's clear. And now he should have spent the time. You know, now he's like 20 minutes less than Ivanchuk, and he still needs to capitalize. Okay, knight g5 probably, right? You could do knight. You could even do no. I think e6 after knight d5. So I have another plan. E6 after knight d5. That's what I'm looking at. For the time being, knight g5 is great because after this you can just push the pawn. And again, I think it's disaster for black. So now, just by virtue of the normalcy of the position knight g5, you go knight g5. And you're hitting here. Simple chess. Simple yet highly effective chess. Knight g5, hitting f7. What's he doing? Okay, let me ask the engine. I'm not a super GM, and probably I'll never be. G4, knight g5. I mentioned them both. Knight g5 and g4, an old idea that I mentioned as soon as I saw rook lift a1 to a4. I did mention g4. It makes all the sense in the universe. Knight g5 and g4. I would go on knight g5 because I like to get the pieces closer to attacking my target. So that makes a ton of sense. Okay. And I've decided that like in 30 seconds, 40 seconds, because I can see it's a strong attack and it forces black in a bit of disarray. Either rook, painful, or knight. And after this, oops, play e6. Knight g5, e6. Simple. And if this guy gonna happen something, either taking or moving forwards, then this old threat becomes again reenacted with bishop b1 battery aiming at g6, and it's getting worse and worse for black at this stage. Now, if someone can explain what exactly is he doing. Yeah, but knight g5 is absolutely nice and in control, isn't it? Step 65. Knight g5, it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine, knight g5. Totally fine, knight g5. You're safe, you're attacking, you're posing problems, forcing your opponent to defend something somehow. So this is it, knight g5. Yeah, g5 seems to be risky, but it's incredibly powerful because that would be you take. If they don't take, you take. And after they take, then you can make some queen's incursions. Like that's super dangerous for black here. There's just something, it's just nothing they could possibly play. Knight g4, knight g5, you mean? Knight d5, and so knight g5, knight d4, e6, step 65. That's what I thought. I'm opening up the E, I'm sabotaging f7, I'm sabotaging g6. Bang and boom. And let black do whatever they want, take, pushing, whatever. Another blow is coming. And frankly, it's going to get worse and worse for black at this stage, I reckon. One would say. So knight g5 would be my first choice here. The engine prefers g4 though, but I think knight g5 is very nice. And hell, you could play maybe g4 after. Oh man, he did play knight g5. Go figure. He did play knight g5 after like what 4 more minutes. What's going on with Magnus? Why has he slowed down? And look at this, the most painful thing black does, removing a rook from the e file, going defensively on f8. I mean, he didn't have too many choices, did he? White's in the lead, but he lost a tremendous amount of time with very weird overthinking when he was supposed to be playing queen c2 in a span of 20-30 seconds. So I don't think I want to push e6 now because there is a black knight at the minute. If the black knight was on d5, yeah. But now I don't pay e6. Now I got to think of something else. g4 perhaps. g4 makes sense. Thank you, Clean Chess. That's okay, brother. He did play e6 though. He did play e6. Huh. I mentioned e6 myself at some point, but now there is a black knight here. Okay, probably everything blasts open. Boom, you take, and pawn's gotta take, and rook's gonna take. I think it's... yeah. Very bad for black. Probably not the strong attack. Was g4 better? Was g4 better? f6 by Ivanchuk. Now it's gonna eat a little bit of Magnus's time again. What about bishop b1? Just, I mean, my first choice. What about bishop b1? Is it that bad, bishop b1? Let me just play it. I want to play it. And the engine says it's good-ish. The engine says it's goodish. Probably there was something stronger. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, but not the strongest either. Okay, let's try and figure out what's the strongest move. I'm not putting the engine. I'm just looking at it. G4? I like G4. I really do. Now look, the knives are on the table now. You can't, there is no comfortable zone. There is no comfortable play now. I mean, forget about it. Forget about comfort. It's g4. He did play bishop b1, boys. My first choice, he did play bishop b1. You know what's the problem after bishop b1 and f5? You can't just go g4 now. So there was a little bit of a funky choice. f5. Okay. Leave the status quo. Let's see, how can I improve for white here? If this guy wasn't here, I would have had some checks. I can't check. Can I do this and this? Can I do queen e2, queen e5? Just saying, asking for a friend. Queen e2, queen e... Is it that bad, queen e2, queen e5? He played queen c1. Why? Why did he play queen c1? Okay, let me go back and just play queen e2. What does the engine say? The engine say it's not losing for white. Is a goodish move again, but not the strongest. Okay, that would have been my choice compared with Magnus's. Not that great of a choice. Magnus played queen c1. He played queen c1. Let's see exactly what exactly does he have in mind with this. What does he want to do? He wants to go here? I mean, what? Oh, no. No, no, no. He wants to play b3 and queen b2. Aw. Incredible, eh? Incredible. Queen c1, I think he wants to play, in principle, b3 and queen b2. Am I correct, step 65? And then if there is any king, you always, oops, you always have knight f7. Okay. The engine doesn't like Vasil's last move. So guys, is it b3? Okay, I'm gonna play b3 because actually, if it's not, the whole thing with queen c1 doesn't make sense in my mind. So I'm gonna push b3 now. And the eval bar dropped dramatically. Something's not right here. Something's not right. Bad move. b3 is not working. Hello, Texan. How does white capitalize on here, people? Okay, nice one. Bishop a2 back. Hitting the rook, reinforcing the pawn. And probably after the rook has been sent somewhere, on the back rank again. Oh, on the back rank. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. What is going on? What is white queen's gonna go? Yes, it's live. Texan, it's live. Absolutely. Yep. It's one of my two favorites grandmasters, and I thought that I'm gonna do this stream mainly about their own game. Yes, that is correct. And I'm really curious on seeing how is Magnus planning to capitalize here. Rook c4 makes a lot of sense. Step 65. Rook c4 indeed. Yes. Because they just simply seeing a bit more than us normal mortals. They are special mortals due to their training and brain capabilities. We need to upgrade. So yeah, Rook c4 makes sense. Rook c4 makes sense. It does make sense. Neutralizes the rook. Rook takes, queen takes. And dark squares are terribly weak. And probably at some point you will have to commit and push b3. But no, not b3. Bloody hell. b4. Can't play b3 because you're blocking your own bishop. So b4. But first thing first, queen is being attacked. Can you play queen e3 or something? Queen f4, queen e3 ideas? And then this? Can you? Or just you shouldn't be tolerating the black queen on c5? Just asking. Might that be the case? Not sure. I'm really not sure. Yeah, I think so. Queen e3, b4, queen f4, b4. Interesting ideas. Queen e3. Absolutely, I like it. I absolutely like it. Queen e3 prospectively might be offering some queen b6 ideas at some point. Looking at b7. Prospectively. Yeah, queen e3 or queen f4, b4, and then you try and go on the dark squares checking the black king. Makes sense. Now, after b4, yeah, awesome stuff, Pranav. After b4, you're kind of actually making your white rook very painfully idle. I'm not sure about the b4. So maybe just b3, but b3 blocks in the bishop. So probably you've got to go e3 or f4. Or maybe just rook c4. Rook c4, rook c4. Not a bad idea, rook c4, I guess. But boys, there is something weird here. Magnus is on 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I mean, what on earth is... I mean, Magnus spent an enormous amount of time in a relatively clear attacking position. Now, he did play queen e3. I'm happy because I would have played queen e3 myself. But he tends to be spending way too much time. I don't know what's going on. If Magnus is going to have a problem, it's because of the time. Because he's actually dominating in this ending. He's got better position, way better position, stronger attack. Black King is not as safe as the White King. And he just wasted so much time. Magnus wasted so much time. Rook on c5 trapped. Correct. What is the way of attacking the rook? Twice, if I may ask, step 65. I agree. It looks like it's getting trapped, the rook on c5. But what is the way of attacking the rook? As long as the queen is on e7, how would you... attacking, actually, would be... Okay, now... Ooh, check here. Is white queen supposed to be playing queen e5? I think this is an opportunity. Is queen e5 the right answer, guys? Queen e5? What else can you possibly do? Queen d2 he played. Okay, let me just play queen e5. Well, you're going to be trading? No, you're not going to be trading. You just drop it on e2. Okay. And then, I mean, the idea, if you can push this guy a little bit more, that's also good. So queen this, queen f6, dropping back, pushing the pawn one more time, and then a possible fork. Would that be workable, Pranav? Just saying. I mean, not easy. I didn't cover everything. First thing first, I didn't cover all of the variations. So queen e5, queen f6, queen to e2. You're defending this guy from the queen. You're preparing pawn advancement and fork. Is it that bad? Let me actually go back a bit. And after this, I'm going to play queen f6 and see how the engine reacts to the move. Is it a raid? Oh, okay. Who do I have to thank? Guys, actually, queen e5 would have been very good stuff. Very good stuff, queen e5. So I had a very good instinct in regards to queen e5. 3K, who did Chess Chopin? Okay, I want to thank Chess Chopin, and I'll make a note, and I'm gonna raid this fella on the next opportunity back. Well, I'm gonna send him like a large amount of like 3 viewers, but still. So yes, I do thank Chess Chopin. He's been very kind. They've been very kind. I don't know if it's a lad or a thing. So that stuff. Right. So guys, Queen E5 would have been indeed a better option, I guess. Now, what's the thing with Queen E3 here? Okay, keeps the black queen to defend the rook. I get this. How do you bunch things around here? How do you make things move? Yeah, but you know something, step 65. Queen e5 could have been played previously. Oh, sorry, guys. Queen d2, rook f6. Okay. My fault because I haven't pressed the button forward. So let me take it from this point onwards now. Okay, let's think of this stuff again. How do you make the black queen go away? Is there any way you can move things around here? They're very instructing, very, very passionate, very fabulous. That rook is trapped. Yes, the rook on c5, it is. Again, what is the way for attacking the rook on c5? No, you're not dumb. You're actually quite right about this. It is trapped. But on the other hand, if you look at the practicalities of it, how do you actually attack that rook on c5? Hello, Chess Chopin. Just wanted to thank you, brother, for the raid. So appreciate the raid. B4, guys. B4, the move that we've been discussing about a couple of moves before, and I was reluctant because it traps the white queen on a4 a bit, had been played, attacking the trapped rook that step 65 actually identified. So b4 happened, rook c3, b takes d, cd. That's the position. That's the position now. This knight on g5 makes an incredibly powerful job at defending the pawn. Fabulous. If this knight can't move because the rook is dropping. Hello there, M&S. So the knight can't move at the minute. Oh, I see. My old friend of 2 months, 3K recommended Chess Chopin. So, okay, that's been very kind of him. Yes, 3K, I absolutely appreciate. I knew you were about to do some nice stuff. So I absolutely thank you guys to both of you, 3K and Chess Chopin. That's been very kind of you, fellas. I'm gonna make a note. So future raid, I'm gonna have to open the Twitch because I'm restreaming now. I'm using restream, but next raid should be going towards yourself in case we manage to synchronize. That's been very kind of you. So f4 being played takes. Magnus is on 4 minutes. The other guy is 36. Queen e5 was an option for ages ago. Queen e5 was an option indeed, and pins the rook, attacks the other rook. He needs to think something to do about the rook on a4 as well. You got to get that rook to do something. Okay, now you got to move the queen. Is this move playable? Queen to d7. Just asking. Is this playable, guys? Or there is something stronger? You need to refuse the queen straight and look at something else. Well, queen d7, if queen takes, pawn takes, you're actually promoting. And even if rook goes here, you're going to be promoting. And if rook takes, you're going to play a knight here, checking and taking a rook. So I think queen d7, probably. Look, the position is completely winning for white. So chess shop, yes. Oh, you've been watching other games too. Very nice of you. Very nice of you. Well, I think time matters absolutely, especially if the quality of your moves it's getting poor because you're getting in time scrambles. Um, it was a weird thing, Chess Chopin. It was a weird thing because Magnus spent 15 minutes with the move that me and my other three viewers, friends here, we've seen it in the first seconds. And he spent like 15 minutes, I don't know, about thinking about it's not very clear exactly. And well, 3K in this very game we're looking at now, Vasil only defended all the time. He didn't do nothing apart from defending. Maybe he took a nap. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, maybe he fell asleep. Cheshire. Yeah, maybe he fell asleep. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, he spent 15 minutes. I don't know what. I absolutely don't. Maybe he put the alarm. Queen d7, queen d7, e d7, whatever he does, d8, queen, and if they take 96. Yes, exactly. Ah, that's a good one. That's a nice one. But I think he's covering now the face and the eyes. Cheshire. I think he's doing like this now. So don't know about the eyes admiration, but yeah. So um uh step 65, queen d7 was indeed one of my first thoughts. Let me actually go back and play it. Let's see if the engine is angry. Let's see if the engine is upset about queen d7 idea. So now I'm putting exactly queen d7, which I thought it should be the right course of action for white. So I'm just playing queen d7 now. Okay, it's not very upset, the engine. It's not. Plus 1.8. Let's go back to the actual moves that happened. He did play, what did he play? G4, rook f5. Oh, he just resigned. Okay, okay, people. He had just resigned at this stage. Queen e4, he wanted. Okay, that was very elegant from Chuck to actually had resigned. That was elegant from him to know something. Yeah, it is a huge advantage for white. I'll give you that. But Magnus is having 2 minutes on the clock. So the question is, right, right. Because after time control, yes. Yes, spot on. Yes, yeah. Exactly, Light. Exactly. No, that's the case indeed, guys. No. They got the extra half an hour or something. So that means it's not 2 minutes actually. It's 32. So there's just no point to continue at this stage. Probably the white rook needs to come into game somehow. I mean, just look at this. Very nice game. Come on. That was a very nice game here. And the move that actually Ivanchuk could have chosen differently was, let me go to that one, was actually here. So that was the most important moment for Ivanchuk when if he had gone with knight e4, he probably could have won. So that was the moment, move number 17. If takes, and if you're looking at this kind of pin, f5, right? I mean, you have to. f5. And if you're looking at knight to d2, for instance, if you want to open up the bishop, if you want to enact your pawn to go to f3, then we might be just playing this. And that might have been a moment for Ivanchuk to explore, but he didn't go for this line. He didn't go for this line. I think it's very sharp. And I think it's preferable to what he played in the game, actually. So I think these choices are more preferable than what he played with knight a6. Magnus won, and rightfully so. I mean, he played a very good game. And you know something? Ivanchuk went for knight a6 here. And everything that followed, it's history now. Probably we're going to make a YouTube video for this one. Wow. Yes, of course. Yes, of course, Pranav. Yeah, if you can just copy paste the link. If you can copy paste the link, we'll definitely having a. Oh yeah, let me just go briefly now. Is there any other stuff right now? Dominguez. Oh boy. Hold on a sec. What's going on here? Thanks for the game, Pranav. We're gonna have a look at that one, but I mean I do appreciate what's happening right now. Oh boy. Oh boy. I think this boy had this pawn has to go to h6. Or maybe first. Oh, wait a second. This is not that simple. Wait a second. It's not that simple. Maybe we should be attacking this knight. Uh, maybe we should be attacking this knight. It's a huge advantage. Or maybe g4. Okay, so let me highlight the candidate moves that I might be considering here. G4, Rook D. What other things, ladies and gents? What other things? I mean, if knight moves, bishop drops. G4 not that bad after all, right? Is G4 that bad? Just saying, it's a candidate move. I didn't put it on the engine or anything. I'm just saying. Yes, arguably, yes, arguably he's the best, one of the best for sure. And he played pure genius today against Ivanchuk. Absolutely fabulous game he played. I'm gonna make a YouTube video on this particular game, probably later on this evening. Probably any move now wins. Probably we're looking at this. So let me ask the engine now, guys, because after G4 and Rook CD, definitely. Yes, the engine says Rook D1 actually, not G4. Ooh, that's weird. Ooh, okay. Right, it's not that weird. I've seen it now. Actually, he played the rook to stop the connection in between the queen and the knight. And if this guy takes, we're going to take with check tempo, grabbing the queen. Fabulous. This is fabulous. Rook C2, C5, stopping the connection in between the queen and the knight. So the knight will be taken. And if black blunders further with rook capture, queen taking rook, we got bishop f7 check, and then we collect the queen. And then knight's gonna fall, bishop's gonna fall. Something along these lines. Absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Yes, M&S, that's exactly what we're looking at. If queen takes c5, bishop f7. That is correct. That is actually correct here. True. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, it's painful to continue. Probably you want to save some mental energy and just go for the I don't know what's the format. Do they play another one? Yeah, if there was another game coming, probably I would resign this one, go refill the coffee cup, grab a sandwich, something, and absolutely. Absolutely a very elegant move. A rook to c5. I didn't expect that. Personally, I was very much attracted with rook d1 idea and g4, which I don't know how strong that is. But rook d1 actually had been confirmed by the agent too. And now, what about this rook to c6? Is this strong enough? Rook to... No, yes. Rook c6, ladies and gents. Rook c6 attacking the queen. Yeah, I think. No problem. Yeah, exactly. Rook c6. So I'm just playing live. I'm not looking at the engine. I'm just trying to find it out myself. Rook c6, yes. He's going to have to go. And there is no good stuff for the queen to go to. You either move on a5, you either go to d8, takes, and what are you going to play? I'm not sure you want to take the knight. Maybe you want to play... I mean, after queen moves, saying... You're also looking at h6. So if you're hitting the queen now, and if the queen goes a5 or d8, oops, or d8, or b... Well, if he goes to b8, you're just going to trade. If he goes to d8, I wonder, h6 has to be played, right? If they go forwards, you're just going to take this guy and then deliver just checkmate, just like that. Bishop e6, bishop e6. Oh yeah, no. So nice, Souza. H6 is definitely the stuff. But this guy is sort of hanging. So, okay, black should resign. Black should resign. Queen has to go. And look, this guy is completely hanging. It's just... There is another subtlety here. After queen and takes, there might be some check here, but I suspect you could just drop... I suspect you could just drop the queen, right? Okay, it's just some technicalities here. It's just some tactics, basic tactics, and actually you could just... Well, queen has to go. So queen has to go. Okay, now you're going to have to trade, I guess. You're going to have to decide on trade. Just simplify the whole game. So queen takes d, knight takes d, and then you have to look for more tradings. You have to do as many tradings as possible. h6 or maybe bishop e4, one of these. h6, bishop e4, one of these ideas. You've got to do this kind of stuff. You have to trade. When you have material advantage, the rule says you've got to aim and trade as much as possible. This is a stronger continuation. I mean, you give a rook quality and then knight takes back or bishop takes back. I think you're ending up in a better position not taking with rook on e6. So yeah, okay, bishop takes. Probably pawn's gonna take attacking. No, this just doesn't matter. White's winning here. You take back. If knight takes, you're gonna take a7. It's game over. It's just game over. You can make some disturbances and pushing the pawn. Either taking or pushing, it won't matter. So white is winning here. Dominguez is winning here now. Whatever you take with, it won't matter. Yeah, you're gonna have to just take this pawn. Knight can't move. Knight moves, you're gonna take. Taken on a7. There are quite a few good ideas. Okay, that's a victory for white. That is if they don't blunder terribly. Simplification is something that makes it easy for you to win and capitalize in the end. Because you don't want to maintain the complexity, because you might be blundering. There is still a knight on the board. This guy is very unpredictable. So you better simplify and actually look for getting rid of the pawns so you can push the pawn and promote. So it does make a lot of sense for you to simplify and to capitalize on the advantage. If you want to take advantage, you need to simplify the position. If you are the part with more material. If you are black here, you don't want to simplify. You want to make it as complicated as possible. So that's how it goes in chess. You've got advantage, simplify. You've lost material, try to make it very complicated. Yeah, Dominguez now is a grandmaster. It's a super grandmaster. He's gonna go for the simplest and quickest way to win. Probably Alexei Serrana should be resigning. Should be resigning. Guys, I'm gonna open the Twitch now and see if I can possibly help another fellow streamer with a raid. I think I'm gonna go grab a sandwich and a coffee. I'm feeling a bit tired now. So let me see if I can do it in this fashion. Now I'm multi-streaming on Restream, and I don't have the function to raid as I'm looking at the OBS now. So I reckon I gotta open up the Twitch. We can potentially, but I really need to take a break. So we are going to be looking at your game on the next stream. We're definitely going to be looking at that. So now, not this evening though, but tomorrow 1 p.m. UK time, we're going to be doing another one, because I don't have schools at the minute. So we can definitely Sunday 1 p.m. UK time. We can definitely, and yeah, well, you're here now, and that's good. And you can revisit. And tomorrow I'm gonna see you again, because I'm gonna be back at 1 p.m. with another stream. See you. Now I want to raid a fellow streamer, and probably I need to open up the Twitch. I haven't done it before. I'm trying to do it now. You guys, oh, you guys still looking at? Okay, that's cool. I think I've raided someone. I've raided someone at some point. I'm trying to open up the Twitch now. So yeah, from White's perspective here, the a7 is falling. If the knight moves, the e6 is falling. And also Black has back rank problems because you just simply get checkmated. Exactly. So these are very simple, natural, normal moves to play. White is winning here. They cannot not win. They cannot not win. Absolutely winning. All right, I've opened up the Twitch. What do I do for raiding purposes? Am I going to the dashboard or something? Am I going to? I'm not very certain what to do. There is a raid button somewhere. Chess Chopin, if you can guide me, how am I going to raid? I would happily do it right now. Extension, view rewards. What's that? Analytics? No, I don't think so. Streaming tools, extensions. Um, Streaming tools. Create a camp. Chess Chopin, if you can guide me on how exactly am I generating the raid for any other chess streamer, if they are online. How do I, or do I go on the panel with the players, with the streamers, and then I'm selecting a streamer and then I'm raiding them, or how do I do it? Community. Uh, or should I go to the? Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, where am I here? Probably I need to watch a YouTube video and find out how am I rating people. Start to stream. No, that's already. It's not very clear. How am I? Oh, so guys, if I want to raid, where do I go exactly? When I want to raid, I'm on Twitch now. I've opened the Twitch. Oops. Let's go back to the dashboard. Chess Chopin, how did you do the raiding, brother? How did you actually do that? Um. Okay, I definitely need to watch a YouTube video. Settings, channel. It's not very straightforward, isn't it? Analytics. I don't know. Okay, I'll need to look into this after the stream. Okay. All right, folks. So I'm going to be pause it for now. I plan on returning tomorrow, 1 p.m. UK time for another stream. I'm going to do Pranav's game. I'm going to do Pranav's game, and maybe we can do an arena if we are like 4 people available on the platform. Maybe I can make an arena and we can play each other. If that sounds good, people, we'll definitely do that. If you guys are happy with this course of action, that's exactly how we're going to do it. So I thank very much, people, for you being here today. Thank you, Pranav. Thank you, Chess Chopin 3K and Step 65 M&S via YouTube, and Nice Zuya. Thank you, and see you. Good to seeing you back. And have I missed anyone? 3K. If I said that. Saber. I hope I haven't missed too many people. Okay. Totally appreciate, guys. See you tomorrow.